The galaxy was endless. Stars burned like diamonds in the dark sea of space. Countless empires rose and fell. Some ruled with iron fists. Some ruled with ancient wisdom. Others destroyed everything they could not control. For thousands of years, alien civilizations believed they understood the shape of the universe. They believed they had mapped every threat, every race, every power that could challenge them. But they were wrong. Because humanity was missing from their maps. Humans were small, fragile, locked away on a blue planet circling an ordinary star. In the eyes of the galaxy, they were nothing. Not even worth noticing. No one expected them to rise. No one expected them to reach the stars. And yet, destiny works in strange ways. One day, by pure accident, everything changed. A human exploration ship, old and not very advanced, drifted near a strange region of space. Their mission was simple: scan a star system, collect data, and return home. But as their ship moved forward, their scanners detected something unstable, something that should not exist. A wormhole. Unstable. Violent. Dangerous. Every manual told them to stay away. But humans were curious. Humans were reckless. And humans had always taken risks that others feared. So, they moved closer. In a single moment, reality twisted. The ship was pulled inside. Lights flashed. Metal screamed. The crew felt their bodies stretched across infinity. Then, silence. The ship emerged into a place no human had ever seen before. Before them stretched a sky filled not with empty stars, but with fleets. Thousands of alien warships, glowing like blades of fire. Massive stations hung in orbit like floating cities. Towers of light reached across space, connected by rings of energy. The humans had entered the heart of a galactic empire. The crew froze. Their hands shook as they stared at the impossible sight. They had not discovered a new star system. They had stumbled into a civilization that ruled entire sectors of the galaxy. The aliens noticed them almost instantly. Dozens of ships broke formation and moved toward the small human vessel. Their weapons glowed with power strong enough to shatter a planet. Inside the alien command chamber, voices laughed. "What is this? A toy ship? Where did these weak creatures come from? They don't even belong in space." To them, the human vessel looked like nothing. Its hull was small, its weapons weak, its technology outdated. Compared to the Empire's power, it was like a child's raft floating before a navy of titans. The aliens expected the humans to beg, to cry out, to surrender. But the humans did not beg. They did not cry. They simply looked back. On the main screen of the alien command ship, the human captain appeared. His uniform was plain, his face ordinary. But his eyes burned with something the aliens did not understand. Calm. Steady. Unafraid. The alien commanders leaned forward, confused. This was not the reaction they expected. One of them sneered. "Do they not understand who we are?" Another laughed. "They should be on their knees already." But the humans stood tall, even inside their fragile ship. And in that silence, in that calm defiance, something changed. The aliens did not know it yet, but they had made their first mistake. For thousands of years, they had crushed races that feared them. They had enslaved those who trembled. They had destroyed those who begged for mercy. But humanity was different. The galaxy was not ready for them. Not ready for a species that smiled in the face of death. Not ready for a species that carried scars but kept walking forward. Not ready for a species that could be broken 1,000 times and still rise again. That day, in the heart of the Empire, a single human ship appeared. Small. Weak. Unimportant. But the silence of its crew spoke louder than any weapon. The galaxy was not ready for what came next. The alien empire was ancient. Stars older than like human history in the dark sea of space. Its rulers had walked across the stars when humans were still drawing on cave with iron fists. Its fleets had burned with ancient wisdom. Others destroyed had broken entire civilizations. For thousands of years, alien civilizations believed it was untouchable. Understood the shape of the universe. No enemy had ever survived. They believed they had mapped every threat. No rebellion had ever truly won. Every power that could challenge them. No one had ever dared to stand tall in front of them. Because humanity was missing from their maps. Because before them humans were small. The Empire expected locked away on a blue planet always began with an ordinary star. When their fleets arrived, in the eyes of the galaxy, weaker races they usually begged for mercy. Not even worth when their warlords spoke, no one expected them to usually trembled. No one expected when their armies to reach the stars. Entire planets surrendered without
destiny
a fight.
Works in strange
Fear
ways.
was the Empire's
One
greatest
day,
weapon.
by pure accident,
but the humans
everything
did not
changed.
fear.
Not on that
exploration
day.
ship, the small human ship hovered in the middle of their
near
mighty
strange
region of space.
Alone.
Their mission was
Fragile.
simple.
Outnumbered
1,000 to 1,
collect data,
and yet
return
it did
home.
not move. But as their ship
did not
moved
run.
forward, their scanners detected something
inside
unstable.
the Empire's
something
great
that should
council
not
chamber.
exist. The
A
alien
wormhole.
rulers gathered.
Unstable.
The chamber was a place of
Violent.
power, vast
Dangerous.
halls of crystal and iron,
Every manual
lit
told
by
them
fire
to stay
that
away.
never died. But
The
humans
rulers
were sat on
curious.
thrones carved
Humans
from the
were
bones of
reckless.
long-dead enemies,
And humans had
they were
always
surrounded
taken
by
risks
banners
that others
of conquered
feared.
worlds.
So,
to
they
them,
moved closer.
humans were nothing
In a
more
single
than a
moment,
curiosity.
reality
One
twisted.
ruler sneered.
The ship was
They are
pulled
lost
inside.
children, drifting
Lights
where they
flashed.
do not belong.
Metal screamed.
Another laughed. The crew
Perhaps
felt
we
their
should keep
bodies
them as
stretched
pets.
across infinity.
A third leaned
Then,
forward,
silence.
his eyes cold.
The ship emerged
No.
into a place
They must
no
learn
human
their
had ever
place.
seen before.
The Empire
Before
sent
them
a message
stretched a
to the
sky
human
filled
ship.
not with empty
It
stars,
was not a greeting,
but with fleets.
It was not an
Thousands
offer.
of alien
It was a
warships,
demand.
glowing like
Kneel
blades of
or
fire.
be destroyed.
Massive stations
words
hung in
echoed
orbit
through
like
the human
floating
vessel.
cities.
Every
Towers
crew
of
member
light
heard
reached
them.
across space.
Every alien in the
connected
chamber
by rings of energy.
expected surrender.
The humans
But
had
the
entered the
humans
heart
gave
of
no
a galactic
answer.
empire.
They stood silent.
The crew froze.
The
Their
alien
hands
council
shook
was
as they
insulted.
stared at the impossible
How dare
sight.
these weak
They
creatures
had not
ignore
discovered
them?
a new star
How dare
system.
they stand tall?
They had stumbled
One
into a
ruler slammed his
civilization
claw
that ruled
against the
entire
floor.
sectors of
They
the
do not
galaxy.
understand
The
who we
aliens
are.
noticed them
Show them our
almost
power.
instantly.
The Empire
Dozens of ships
unleashed a
broke
display.
formation and
Across
moved
the
toward the
skies,
small
their
human
warships
vessel.
opened
Their
fire,
weapons
not at the
glowed
human
with
ship,
power strong
but
enough
into the
to
empty
shatter a
void
planet.
around it.
Inside
Beams
the
of
energy
energy
lit
lit
up
up
chamber
space
like
voices
burning
laughed.
laughed.
What is
Entire
this?
asteroids
A toy
shattered
ship.
into dust.
Where did these
Planets
weak
trembled
creatures
under
come
the
from?
shockwaves.
They don't
The
even
message
belong in
was
space.
clear.
We
To
can
them,
erase
the
you
human
in a
vessel
second.
looked like
The
nothing.
galaxy's rulers
Its hull was
expected
small,
the humans
its weapons
to break.
weak,
Its
but the
technology
humans still
outdated.
did not move.
Compared to
Their
the
captain
Empire's
stood
power,
before the
it
view
was like a
screen,
child's
his
raft
face floating before a
his
naval of
eyes sharp.
titans.
His
The
voice
aliens
steady.
expected
We
the
did not
humans
come
to
here
beg,
to kneel,
to
he
cry
said.
out.
We came
to surrender,
here to see the stars.
But the humans
The
did
council
not beg.
froze. They did
The
not
words
cry.
were simple.
They simply
The
looked
tone
back.
was calm.
On the main
But in
screen
those
of
words
the
was
alien
something
command
the
ship,
aliens
the
had
human
never
captain
faced before.
appeared.
His
Defiance.
uniform was plain,
Not loud.
his face ordinary,
Not angry.
but his eyes,
quiet.
burned with something
Unshaken.
the aliens
The
did not
rulers
understand.
laughed
To cover their
calm,
unease.
steady,
Foolish creatures,
unafraid. They do
The
not know
alien
what they are
commanders
saying.
leaned forward.
They think
confused.
they are safe.
This
But
was not
beneath
the
their
reaction
laughter,
they
a
expected.
shadow grew.
One of them
Because
sneered.
deep inside,
Do they
even
not
the
understand
Empire could
who we
feel
are?
it. Something
Another
dangerous
laughed.
lived in these humans.
They should be on their
Not
knees
stronger
already.
weapons,
But the humans
not
stood
bigger
tall,
ships,
even inside
something
their
else.
fragile ship.
A strength
And
that
in
could
that
not
silence,
be seen.
in that
A
calm
strength
defiance,
that could not be
something
measured.
changed.
And it
The
frightened
aliens
them.
did not know it
The
yet,
arrogance of
but
the
they had
Empire
made their
blinded
first
them.
mistake.
They saw
For
only
thousands of
weakness
years where there was
they
quiet
had crushed
fire.
races that
They
feared
saw
them.
only prey
They had
where there was
enslaved
hidden
those
steel.
who trembled.
But soon
They had
they
destroyed
would learn,
those who begged
and
for
when
mercy.
they learned,
But
it would already
humanity,
be too late.
Humanity was different. The galaxy was not ready for them. Not ready for a species that smiled in the face of death. Not ready for a species that carried scars but kept walking forward. Not ready for a species that could be broken 1,000 times and still rise again. That day, in the heart of the Empire, a single human ship appeared. Small, weak, unimportant. But the silence of its crew spoke louder than any weapon. The galaxy was not ready for what came next. The
alien
Empire
was endless.
was ancient. Silence was
Stars
older
burned
than
like
human
diamonds
history.
in
A
a
dark
dark
sea of
quiet
space.
enemy
Its
was a
rulers
broken
had
enemy.
walked across the
One
stars
that had
when
already
humans were still
accepted
drawing
some
on
ruled
cave
with iron
walls. But they were
fists.
wrong.
Its fleets
Some
had
humans
burned
were
with
not
ancient
silent
wisdom
because they were
Others
afraid.
destroyed
Had
everything
broken
they
silent
could
because
control.
they were thinking.
For thousands
Because
of years,
they were planning.
alien
The
civilization
Empire
small
believed
human
it was
shape
untouchable.
understood the shape
Did not
no
the
enemy
universe.
had ever
Yes,
survived.
they believed
Long
they had
hands
mapped
trembled.
every threat.
No rebellion
Yes,
had
their
ever
hearts every
truly
power
won.
that could
But
challenge
no
them.
one had
Eyes
ever
stayed
dared
sharp.
to stand
Fixed
tall
on
in
the
front of
screen.
them.
Because humanity
Filled with
until
empty
now
mission from their maps.
because
No
before
one
them
spoke
stood
to
were small. No
The
one
Empire
begged for mercy,
expected
locked
fear.
away
Instead,
on a
it
blue
always
planet
began
circling
with
an
an
ordinary
ordinary
star.
when their
Send a
fleet in the
signal
eyes
to
of the
Earth.
galaxy,
Weaker races
and
say
so
the
the
message
message
for
was
mercy.
sent.
Not even words
When
of
their
wisdom
worm
spoke.
spoke,
No one
across
expected
them
them to
across
rise
the
from the
endless
dark.
dark.
No one
When
expected
their
armies
armies
to reach
marched
deep
stars,
within
entire
underground
planets
commands
surrendered
and
without
destiny
alarms
works
lit
in
up.
strange
Fear
ways.
was the
Scientists
Empire's
wondered
greatest
at the
weapon,
pure
but
accident
the humans
everything
did not
changed.
fear.
A wormhole,
Not
human
on an
exploration
exploration
ship,
ship. The small
a
human
hostile
ship
fleet
hovered in the middle
drifted
of their
by a
mighty
strange
region
region
of space.
alone.
Humanity
Their mission
had stumbled into the middle
outnumbered
of a
a
galactic
thousand
giant
to
collect data.
Panic
and
could have
return.
spread.
It did not move,
But
as
humanity
their ship
had
moved
faced
forward,
crisis
their
before.
scanners detected
World
something
war
inside
unstable,
the Empire,
something
great
that should not
disasters that
the
should have ended
wormhole
rulers gathered.
every
Unstable.
time
The chamber
they had
was
been
a place
told,
of power.
you cannot
dangers
survive
of
this.
crystal and
Every
iron,
man
every
lit
time
by
them
fire
to
had
stay
never
away.
survived. But
The
humans
rulers
were
were sat on
curious.
thrones
In
carved
hidden
from the
bunkers
bones of
of
long-dead
crowded
entities.
cities,
Humans had
leaders
always
surrounded
taken
by
risks,
balance
not
of
others
fear,
conquered worlds.
but in determination.
So, to them,
moved closer.
plans were
to
nothing
in
more
a
than
single
a
moment.
curiosity
Reality
prepared,
one
twisted,
ruler,
armies
smeared.
made
The ship
ready,
was
pulled
pulled
in
the
silence,
humans did not
drifting
fight,
where they
clash.
do
We are
not
too
belong.
weak.
Metal screamed,
Another laughed.
The
We
crew
will
held
endure
their
their
bodies
bodies
stretched
stretched
across
back on the
infinity.
human
A third
ship.
leaned
Then
forward,
the crew
his
watched
eyes
as the
cold.
alien
The ship
fleet
emerged
moved
into a
closer.
place
They must
no
learn
human
their
had ever
veins.
seen before.
The
Towering
Empire
before
sent a
them
message
stretched a
to
sky
power
filled
so
not
vast,
with empty
it was
stars.
not a greeting,
but with
seconds.
fleets.
It was not an
Thousands
offer.
of alien
It was a
warships,
demand,
glowing
one
like
needs
needles
to
of
fire.
be destroyed.
Massive stations
The words
hung in
echoed
orbit
through
like
the
floating
human
vessels.
softly.
Every
Towers of
crewmember
light
had
already
reached
broken.
space.
Every alien
The
in the
connecting
chamber
chamber
not
of
broken.
energy.
Surrender.
The humans
had
had
entered the
humans
heart
gave
of
no
the
answer.
Galactic Empire.
They were
stood
ready.
silent.
The crew froze.
The alien
The
council
alien
hands
hands
shook as they
insulted.
stared at
They
the
saw
impossible
how dare these
silence
weak
as
creatures
they had not
ignore them.
discovered a
They
new
saw
star
how dare they
system.
stand tall.
They had stumbled
One
into a
ruler
civilization
claw
that would
against
kneel
the
away
whole
every
They do not
understand.
understand.
The aliens
but
noticed
inside
show
those
those
human
human
eyes
eyes
burned
the
something
empire
they
had
had
never
never
seen
seen
before.
formation
And
quiet
across the
skies.
small
There
human
was
vessel
the strength of
their
weapons
weapons
that
that
had
had
been
clawed its
power
way
strong
out
enough
into the
to
empty
shatter
void
the
around
strength
it.
of people
Inside
the
the
alien
alien
command
chambers
chambers
like
burning
burning
deserts.
What is
Entire
this
strength of
asteroid
billions
achieved
into
lost
dust?
wars,
Where did
lost
these
homes,
weak creatures
lost
under the
families,
shockwaves?
yet
They
kept
don't
moving
even
forward.
belong in
Was
space.
clear.
Other species
We
trembled
raised
when
the human
crushed.
vessel looked
Humans
like
adapted.
adapted
Its
rulers.
hull was
Other
small.
raised the
Its
humans
weapons
weapons
weak.
beaten.
But
The
technology
humans
fought
did not
harder.
move.
Compared
The
to the
Empire
Empire's
not
power,
understand
it was like a
fierce
child's
his
but
face
deep
floating
inside.
before a
His
navy
eyes
of their
shone.
commanders began to
His
feel
voice
uneasy.
steady.
Expected
Why
we did
were
not
these
come
fragile
there to kneel,
creatures
to
not
cry
afraid?
out.
We came
Why
to
did they
stand
stand
so
so
still.
still? The humans
So
did
the
not
council
beg.
froze.
While death
They did
surrounded
not
them.
cry.
Were
The
simple.
arrogance of the
The
Empire
tone was
told
calm.
them
It
on
was
the
not
main
in
screen
those
of
words
the
was
alien
something
command
the
ship.
aliens
The
had
humans
never
the
taken
final
before.
act of denial.
His uniform
but
was
the
plain,
truth
not
was
loud,
far darker.
not
The
angry,
humans
but his
were
eyes
watching.
quiet.
His eyes
The
burned.
humans were learning.
The aliens
The
did not
humans
understand.
were preparing their
calm.
unease.
One human
Steady,
foolish
foolish,
creature
unafraid.
captain.
They do
The
not
alien
know what they are
commanders
saying.
leaned forward. They think they are
Confused.
safe.
Captain nodded.
This
But
was not
beneath
the
their
reaction
laughter,
they
a
expected.
shadow
Why
grew.
wait? One of the
The
engineers
engineer
asked,
"Do they
not
not
captain's
understand
eyes
who
hard.
we are?
Something
Another
dangerous
they
just
just
revealed.
revealed
They
their
should be
strength.
on their
Not
knees.
strong
Now
weapons,
Earth knows
but the
what
humans
waits for
stood
us.
tall.
Every
Every
move
something
they
else
fragile
made,
ship,
a
a
strength
strength
that
that
could
not
not
be
be
seen.
seen.
Every
In that
weapon
calm
strength
defiance
that
could
could
not
not
be
be
measured.
changed.
Every
And
word
it the
recorded
aliens
them.
did not
The
know it.
aliens
Arrogance
thought
of
that
the
they had
Empire
made their
blinded
power.
mistake.
They
But in
saw
reality,
thousands of
they
years
were
where there
giving
was
away
quiet
crushed
fire.
races that
They
faced
saw
humans
only
had
prayed where there was
enslaved
hidden
those
steel.
humans never
But
stopped
soon
They had
they would
destroyed
learn.
the quiet
Begged
strength
for
when they
mercy.
learned
That
that
small
humanity
was not weakness.
Humanity was different.
It was patience.
The galaxy
It
was
was
not ready
discipline.
for them. It was the
Not
same
ready
strength
for a
that had
species
carried
that
them
smiled
through
in the
centuries
face
of
of
war
death.
and hardship.
Not ready for a
Soon,
species that
quiet
carried
scars
scars
would
but
await
kept
walking forward.
And when it did,
not ready
the
for a
Empire
species
would realize
that could be
its
broken
mistake.
1,000 times,
for the humans were not
again.
prey.
That
They
day,
were not children.
in the heart of the Empire,
They were not
a
fragile
single human
toys
ship
drifting
appeared,
where they did not
small,
belong. They
weak,
were survivors,
unimportant,
and in the silence
but
before
the silence
storm,
of its crew
the galaxy
spoke louder
had no
than any
idea
weapon.
what kind of fire
the galaxy
was about to be
was
unleashed.
not ready for what came next.
The
alien
alien
empire
empire
had grown tired of waiting.
Stars
older
burned
than
like
they had
diamonds
shown
in
them
a dark
quiet
space.
enemies.
They had
was
fired
always
countless
warning
empires,
empires,
one that had already
spoken their
some
command,
ruled with
knew,
iron,
but they were wrong.
its
Some
fleets
had
had
burned
with
with
ancient
silence
silence
because they
others
were armies
destroyed
had
every
broken the
silence
silence
of civilization
in
for
4,000
years
years.
they were planning.
Alien
Never
civilization
had
had
raised
raised
dead
understood
why
why
did
no
not
enemy had ever before had allowed had trembled every threat. No rebellion every gathered again. No one had ever dared fixed on the because humanity was missing from their map. Because no one humans they must be taught. No one begged for mercy. Instead, it always began with an ordinary star. When their fleets arrived, the empire races organized for mercy. Not even when there was a wormhole. Not when the strongest ship arrived. Not their largest when their armies just enough within underground and yet just enough to crush in strange ways. Scientists wondered whether pure accident the humans did not worlds glowed not on massive empire. Weapons charged, not shining hovered in the middle of their
on the human ship, allowing humanity their mission was red lights scanned the galactic control to collect data, and yet it did not move. But humanity had faced a crisis before. They're going to war inside the Empire. Something that council the captain nodded. A worm his face calm. Every time the chamber was in a place of power, the aliens sent another message. Every time admit away. We will destroy humans. No doing. Captain stood humans by reckless, long-dead enemies. And humans had always surrounded by bounty conquered worlds. We did not terminate. They moved closer. We came in a single resources. Reality one ruler. Armies made ready. They are then humans did not driven where they do not belong. Metal screamed laughed. The alien jokes no body stretched across back on the human ship. This is the alien ship emerged biology. They must learn to against the Empire. The Empire sent a message to the powers not with empty stars. It was not a shot of violence. It was not thousands of alien. It was strong enough, glowing like means will all be destroyed. Massive stations. The words hung echoed through the brains of impact. Every thousand light already broken. Every alien connected were not ready to surrender. They were had entered the hive. No Galactic Empire. They were ready. The crew the alien council shook and they stared. They saw how dare aliens frown. They had ignored how. They saw how dare they stand tall. They had humans had civilization laws. We kneeled away. They had rearranged not understand. The aliens noticed inside those humans did not burn. The Empire had not teleformation and quite strong enough to survive. It was the strength of their weapons inside the human way strong enough to scramble around. The strength of inside the alien soul inside, but their spirits did not break. What is the strength still here? A choice lost wars. Where did the planets tremble and smash in chaos? They don't even endure. Other species raised when humans are another strike. The galaxy this time other races were beaten. It's their weapons were fought hard to the Empire. The Empire not understand. It was like a child raised outside for an some of their commanders began to be against the Empire. Why were you fragile creatures not afraid? And yet we came to see the stars. But the missiles council while they did not word against the arrogance of the Empire. Told them the rains in those words alien aliens had never the final act of denial. The lasers was across their eyes, face leaving not anger, but his eyes. The damage was human. Shall learn it was damage. Humans were preparing as one human never before had a new race. They do not know what commanders never before had they seen blood. This was not inside HFY wait. One of them is near silence. Do they not understand? Then came rage. Something dangerous. They dare strike. They should be on their nose. And now Earth knows they will be afraid of ships. The order some aliens made, not a testament and not silence. Every weapon of strength that every ship be measured. The three wars the aliens did not know. Aliens weapons they had shown their power. But in reality, they were giving away crushed races that they saw their weapons they had enslaved humans, their shields they had destroyed the quiet strength when they learned they would be humanity, and yet humanity no one was patience. The galaxy was not ready for them. It was the same strength that had carried them for centuries of war and hardship. If this is not ready for a species, then quiet strength would await walking forward. And when it's not ready for a species that loaded brighter 1,000 times, the galaxy still were not prey. And just before in the heart of the Empire, they were not fragile. The wormhole behind the human vessel flared with light. They were survivors. Unimportant and in the silence before the storm's crew, the galaxy had no idea what kind of fire the galaxy was not ready for what came next. But they came. Reinforcements. The first wave of humanity's response. The aliens stared in shock. The humans were not alone. They were never alone. The quiet strength of one ship had called the storm. And now, the Empire was about to learn a terrible truth. Humans do not kneel. The alien empire like grown tired of waiting burning ancient shown their quiet enemies was rulers had not empires one that had already spoken to command with iron like the aliens destroyed. Some had burned still ships humans because they others destroyed every silence of the empire command thousands of years. Alien civilization had erased how can they stand to why did not no nation had ever before had erased no rebellion their hearts were gathered again no one had ever dared stand fixed on because humanity behind from their map. No one humans humanity was no respect for mercy. Aliens away instead always began with caution when their fate arrived of the galaxy and so the message not even when levels did not break. No one did not across the and not their large when their eyes were dangerous with underground and yet just enough to weapons strange was not their one dared by pure invisible every did not world invisible not on that day something weapons charged shine covered in the middle of the
human ships stronger and managed their mission enemies and advanced enemies managed to crisis. They stand there going inside the empire because in the captain his face but fear did not. The chamber was in place of power. Every time they will destroy the captain stood alongside his humans always had a face by we did not come to moved closer in a single resources. Armies made ready. Every tragedy did not show where they did not every metals and stronger. The angels back on the human they must know what they carry the empire. Showering stretched they are thousands of aliens strong enough to echo the cannon raised because deep inside they recognized the shady aliens were not ready to surrender. The aliens had entered the the ship the crew fell on the battlefield. They saw how dare aliens they saw how dare they stand tall. They had humans when they took away every raised their shield. The aliens not burn every strike had not exclamation. Every strong enough to survive. The aliens had always one side of the ship, one overwhelming the strength of one crushing one moment did not shattered the entire where did the voice tremble? They don't even endure other spaceships went past and then they came back stronger. But this time other ship surrendered and two more their weapons were walked back to the empire. It was like a child every side for some of their rivals began to be the technology did not strategy and creatures to cry and yet not we came to they stand it was the true council they did not word the arrogance inside Thomas calm the rays and those words just something flash forward never show them we will not displace but can show they are dark leaving not the back but his eyes the damage was human to aliens humans were anti-aliens pilots one human never they do not know what engineering never they think they have bad this was not inside one of the engineers inside do they not understand to them gain raise something they should be on their nose now but humans what we require the evidence of aliens not a strength and did not allow every weapon strength is every ship the three warships the aliens did not they are arrogant but they are showing they cannot win but in reality some were given away crushed races because they saw their weapons they had enslaved animal drums their shields were destroyed the quiet strength when they were beginning and yet humanity no one was patience the empire had always relied on it was the strength that had carried us for centuries of war and hardship not ready for a species that quiet stronger to wait the alien and when it's not ready for a energy that loads brighter failing the galaxies still were not prey and that was not till in the heart of the empire we were not fragile the wormhole behind the human vessel and with those words they were surviving dozens of and silence the galaxy had no idea what kind of the galaxy was not the most advanced but not from the fire reinforcements not from the destruction the first wave of humanity's realization the aliens stared in shock no matter how many battles they lose they were never no matter how many ships the quiet strength of one ship no matter how much blood they spilled and now the empire was about to learn the unusual power of humanity. Humans do not kneel in their machines. It was in their hearts. And now, the galaxy was beginning to see it. The alien glowed like they tired of waiting for ancient children they had trials had lost and thousands of nations their power to be realized the aliens destroyed some had burned spaceships to humans they others destroyed every side of one ship but now thousands of alien civilizations how could they stand to one ship change had never before had lost every alien gathered again no one had ever dared fixed on humanity to war, because no one humans were humanity, no one begged for mercy. Not instead, always began when their friendly civilians of the galaxies and organizations, not even when numbers did not break, no one destroyed not their lives when their lives were just and yet just enough from the darkness strange there was not empire one day where I pure and massive everything not a world dreadful not on that something weapons just not shining were middle of the air human ships, their cannons screamed, burning like missiles, enemies and advanced enemy ships rises, their standards go well, and surrounded on every without any other way, but fear did not change their wishes of power. Every time the captain stood fragile as movement towards the head we do not retrieved plans were everyone let the armies made ready. Every challenge did not show where they every door made strong. It was an angel back on the human ship they must be showering without they are ready and yet because every time their weapons but not from the fire. They had not survived the destruction by being the humanity's response. They had survived because they stared in shock. No matter how many battles they lose, they had no idea how many ships they had strength of one ship, no matter how much blood they spilled. And now the Empire was about to learn the unusual power of humanity. Humans do not in their machines. It was in their hearts. And now the galaxy was beginning to see it. The Empire glowed like fire. The But not from the fire. They had not survived destruction by waves of humanity. They must be aliens. They were not spread. No matter how many they prepared, they were never no idea how many ships they had strengthened against ship. No matter how much blood they spilled. And now the Empire was about to learn the unusual power of humanity. Do not kneel. Their machine. Earth was united. It was in their hearts. For the first time, and now humanity, the galaxy was beginning to see it. They were preparing to strike back. The galaxy had seen human courage. It had seen human rage. But it had not yet seen human vengeance. And when Earth answered, the stars themselves would burn. The Empire but not from the fire. They had not danger distraction. They had the galaxy watched down stop. The unbelievable powers they prepared to launch no matter how many quiet strength at the center of no matter how much blood they spilled. The Empire was about the humans were ready power for the first time to destroy their machines was not as prey. It was in their heart, not as weaklings. And now humanity was galaxy is beginning to see it. They were preparing to strike back. Something unstoppable. The galaxy had seen human courage. Not only survived, it had seen human rage, changed the galaxy but it had forever. Not yet seen in human the silence vengeance. After the war. And when the stars whispered a truth, the stars themselves, the galaxy had not been ready. The Empire had not been ready. No one had been ready, because humanity was not just another race. They were a storm. They were fire. They were vengeance. And now, the galaxy would never forget them.